Welcome to the Voices of the Caring Place, where hope has a voice and transformation has a story. Every meal served, every bed prepared, every prayer whispered is powered by compassion, community, and those that volunteer on a daily basis. The Caring Place is more than a shelter. It's a movement fueled by businesses, churches, and everyday heroes working together to change lives. Today, we are honored to welcome Jesse Carroccio to the conversation. Well, here we are today, and I have the privilege of doing this podcast with Jesse Carroccio from Moody Radio 89.3, and I want to welcome you to the Voices of the Caring Place. So good to have you.
It is my honor. It's been a pleasure. I've gotten to tour the Caring Place, and I mean, yeah, really, I saw the care, I saw the love, I saw, people being loved on. And I'm really, really impressed by what's happening here.
Well, Jesse, tell us a little bit. What impacted you the most from that tour that you took today at the Caring Place?
So I would say the love of the staff. So everyone there, they were there because they wanted to be there. I could tell that they loved what they were doing, and they were there on purpose. And they were there for a purpose. They were giving hope to people. And
that's amazing to hear.
Yeah.
Because as a president of the Caring Place, just to hear that his staff, or to know that we're doing the Lord's work, to know that we are being his hand and feet, it just makes my heart pump a little bit more. Because there's nothing like seeing transformation right before your eyes and seeing miracles right before your eyes. And so that leads us to talk a little bit about Moody Radio, right? 89.3, wonderful organization. What makes Moody Radio what it is?
Yeah, well, Moody Radio, I actually attribute part of my own discipleship to Moody Radio, because as a young man, I would listen to Moody Radio and I would take notes. I'd bring them home and share them with my bride.
Wow.
And, I grew in the Lord so much during that time. And so when God brought me into Moody Radio, and, I had been a missionary, I'd owned a business, and the radio station in Arkansas where I grew up, they said, "We want you to come in and be the manager." I'm like, "I don't know radio." Mm-hmm. And they said, "We don't need you to know radio. You know management, you know marketing. Come on in, we'll teach you radio." And I fell in love with radio.
It's such a beautiful way to reach people, right? With the gospel of Jesus Christ. And you said the key, discipleship.
Yes.
The story telling, the testimonies. Your organization does such great work with the communities at hand. When we talk about radio, I love sports. Okay. And sometimes people tell me, what do you like about baseball? It's so boring. I go, "You've never heard a baseball game on the radio." But it's something like hearing, when they're calling a home run. Yeah. But when you're talking about the Word of God on the radio, tell us a little bit about that. Yeah. How does that impact? Because you said it impacted you.
You hit right on it.
Yeah.
Okay, what I fell in love with about radio is that it's so personal. It's amazing
you're captured and they're talking straight to you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You feel like they're your best friend. They know you. They know what you're going through. And you just have a connection with them that you don't have, with other mediums. And so I love how it meets people, and people, they might meet someone that's on the radio and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know you looked like that," because they imagined me or them in a way that they relate to.
It's relational.
It's using the imagination, the theater of the mind, to reach people where they're at. And it doesn't matter where they're at. They could be homebound.
Correct.
They could be stuck in Miami traffic. We can reach them with the gospel.
Like us here at the Caring Place, I'm sure that throughout your years in radio and the discipleship that you took from them in your early years, I'm sure you've got some stories. You've got stories that have been shared that maybe save somebody from committing suicide. And Amen. He can deliver somebody right there through that airwave. Talking about Moody, when was Moody established and get going?
So Moody Bible Institute started with Dwight L. Moody. So the evangelist of the 1800s. So in 1886, they started Moody Bible Institute. But in 1926, they started Moody Radio.
Yes.
And radio was a new thing. It was a new technology. A lot of Christians even were hesitant to use it because they didn't understand it. And I'm so thankful that Moody was innovative enough to say, hey, let's use this, but let's not just do radio.
He was how we say nowadays, on the cuff of that time.
Oh my goodness, very much so. In fact, so much so that they actually came up with the idea to use satellite to get the signal to remote areas. And it was a new idea, and it took quite a bit to get it actually worked out and work all the bugs and get licensing and everything else. And that's how we have hundreds of stations across the nation that are fed via satellite, and affiliate stations that partner with us, use our programming, but we don't own them. And we're getting the gospel out. And, it's amazing
lives.
what is happening.
So the people that may be listening to this podcast, they might need to hear a story. They might need to hear a testimony.
There's a couple stories, and obviously a lot of the listening happens in cars, and there's been so many stories of someone who pulled over on the side of the road and gave their heart to Jesus. But not too long ago, I was in an Uber, and I got talking to the Uber driver. He's playing Christian radio. And he was an Uber pastor, and he was sharing all the different stories.
Uber evangelist.
Uber evangelist.
There you go, I've met some.
And, and so, it's amazing how people will put Moody Radio on in their car, and it'll touch people that are riding with them. Yes. And, people will pull over on the side of the road and give their heart to Jesus because, there's only so many channels on a radio. It's not like the internet where you have millions to compete with.
Correct.
And so over and over and over again, someone is just looking for hope. They don't know what to do. Yep. They hit the seek dial. It lands on Moody Radio. They give their heart to Jesus.
God has a way of setting us up, right?
He transforms them.
And thank God for those that partner with Moody Radio to keep it going. Tell us about something big that Moody's in. Come on now.
Okay. I'm glad you asked, because that's exactly what I wanted to share was, Moody's in a mode of growth right now. We've done some restructuring. We've moved some things around. We've created a whole new department, Moody Digital Media, because we know people are listening to podcasts.
Things have changed, right? And you have to reach them where they're at.
We're not stopping radio. Okay, but we are reaching more people with the gospel. So just in the last 10 years, we've gone from reaching 1 million as an organization to reaching 41 million.
Wow.
The goal is 100 million. We're starting to partner with FEBC, Far East Broadcasting Company, to get our programming out across Africa. With Transworld Radio, we've got some partnerships coming up to be able to reach South America.
How does that look? Because you just blew my mind now. So 41 million, goal is to get to 100 million.
Yes.
You're trying to get into the continent of Africa. You're trying to get to all these countries. Who translates? Who does all this stuff to get... I know God will make it happen, but I'm just saying this is a big undertaking.
This is a big undertaking.
Not easy.
So here's the thing, is that English is the dominant language around the world. And so our English, we're using English in some of these places, especially Africa.
Okay.
We've got Mark Job's program right now preaching the gospel across Africa, northern Africa, where it's mostly Muslim, and we're getting responses back of Muslims coming to Christ, hearing this message. And we've got, but we're also doing Spanish. So on our app or any smart speaker, you smart TV, look up Moody Radio. But we've got Radio Moody, which is our Spanish
Radio Moody
radio station.
What station is that?
So it's not on
It's an app.
It's on the app. It's on the web. It's on the internet.
Tell those that are listening to the Voices of the Caring Place. Tell them where they can get that app, where they can get it, what they can do. We'll do that at the end, but
it's super easy. Just Moody Radio. Search Moody Radio in your app store. You'll find it.
Yes.
You can tell Alexa, "Hey, listen to Moody Radio." Boom, you're done.
Put it
it's that easy. So, and on there is a bunch of different options. Of course, your local Moody radio station is on there, but there's also Majesty Radio, Praise and Worship Channel,
What do you
Radio
think
Moody.
all these
it's
people
all
that
on there.
started Moody now would see if they would see that they're reaching 41 million, going for 100 million? What do you think they would be? How do you think they would feel?
Yeah, I mean, they never would have imagined it, I don't think. And I can only imagine what God's going to do in the future.
Sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ to 1, 2, 3, and it's just multiplied to 41 million until everybody hears, right?
I am very honored and privileged to be a part of Moody Radio and to be a bullhorn for ministries like this,
correct,
like the Caring Place. You know, that's a big part of my role now, is to partner with ministries in South Florida to promote what God is doing across this area. And so it's an exciting time.
We have a chance to really impact somebody.
Yes.
Because somebody's going to listen to this podcast, The Voices of the Caring Place, and they're gonna go to 89.3, and they're gonna be curious. And I want them to know that every sermon that's said there, every testimony that you share, these are real things that are happening to real people, and that are really changing. It can literally transform a person that may be locked in a hotel room using drugs. How can we do more with you?
That's a great question, because that's my heart. You know, I want to help be a mouthpiece for the kingdom of God in this area. So when you or another Christian organization is doing something, I can help promote that on Moody Radio. And we've got a community calendar where people can submit an event right on our website. But I can also partner and, do spots on the air and let people know what's happening. And I can be a voice for that.
I know that you have your history. Moody has a history of partnering with rescue missions and letting people know and connecting the things that rescue mission needs, heading in that direction of, you've got a big 100-year celebration coming.
Oh, that's right. So
let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, in July, Moody Radio will officially be 100 years old. So check out our website. Go to moodyradio.org. There's a banner there you can click on, and it has some just amazing testimonies of through the years of all the people that have helped build what we call Moody Radio today. Wow. And there's pictures on there. There's actually a new book coming out that's celebrating. Absolutely. And, and we're looking for partners. We're listener supported just like you are.
Jesse, that's where I want to get at. So Moody 89.3 is supported, and we need help. We need to connect. This is an upcoming event that is going to be historical.
Yes.
It's been life-changing. Many people, you can't attribute how many salvations, but I'm assuming millions and millions of people that have come and listened to this. Well, how would you encourage those that are watching us today?
Well, I would just encourage you that God is not finished with you yet. If you have breath in your lungs, that breath came from a God who designed you with a purpose and for a purpose. And if you surrender to Him and choose to follow Him and do things His way, He will bring you into your purpose. We're all looking for purpose, but that purpose cannot be found within ourselves. It can only come from the one who actually gave us purpose, and that's our Creator.
Jesus Christ. And without Him, we're nothing.
But
with Him,
we're nothing.
We can overcome.
God has been so good to me and my family. He brought us to South Florida, through some amazing, unexplainable circumstances. And we landed here, and I realized, wow, I'm back on the mission field. And I believe God has so much that He wants to do here, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. One thing I do want to hit on is that we have a new signal. So we just turned on a new signal here in Miami. So our signal, 89.3, starts fading out about halfway through Miami a little bit, but 90.9 HD4 picks that up and goes all the way down to Key Largo.
There you go, 90.9. You've heard it here.
90.9.
Maybe not first, but at the Voices of the Caring Place, you're listening to it. And so, listen, it's been an honor. It's been a privilege. I tell you, to be part of 100 years and to talk about it here and to encourage people on this podcast is amazing. That we can gather together, talk about it, and say, hey, you matter. Jesse and I, Antonio Villasuso, Jesse, the Caring Place, Moody Radio, wants you to know that you matter, that you still have a purpose, that there's things that you have to do with your life. Connect with Moody. Reach out to them. Get the app. Listen to the radio. Listen on the app. Nuestros amigos en español, por favor, conéctense con el app de Radio Moody. 90.9 is the 90.9 is the new one that will take you from Miami all the way to the Keys. Am I saying it right?
Yes. 90.9 HD4.
I could take a part-time with Moody Radio.
All right.
So thank you for being with us. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for sharing your heart. Thank you for touring and spending part of your day with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being at the Voices of the Caring Place.
Hello, caring friends, and welcome to the Voices of the Caring Place, where stories of hope, healing, and transformation come to life. In this segment, we sit down with residents and graduates, all real stories from real people, and we hear their journeys and their powerful testimonies of change and hope. Today, we are joined by a recent graduate who's going to share his incredible testimony and tell us more about his journey from hopeless to hopeful and where he is today. So without further ado, let me introduce Joshua. Hi, Joshua. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for joining us today on the Voices of the Caring Place podcast. Now, before we dive on in, tell me a little bit about yourself and your history before coming to the Caring Place.
Well, I'm 47 years old. My life was kind of rough. My mother went to prison when I was 4. I lived with my father homeless in a bar in a tent from the time I was 4 till I was 8. Kind of always looking for a place to belong. Got into sports. Then later I got into drugs and gangs. And that's kind of where my story just went down spiral really fast. I became consumed with something, looking for something outside of myself to fill a void, to fill a hole, and I could never get enough. The more I tried to fill it, the emptier I got. I went through this for decades. I had children. I lost my children. I lost the people that cared about me because I chose to continue to try to look for something outside of me. I got to a point where everything just collapsed around me. I ended up in jail, got out of jail, and had nowhere to go, and ended up at the back of the Caring Place getting some food from the back gate when I found out that they had a program that might be able to help me, and I came in that Monday morning.
Wow, so many people have stories of that back gate. So why don't we just kind of unpack a little bit more before we begin your healing journey, as we like to say, your story of hope. So when you were younger, you experienced a lot of hardships. What particular turning point and pivot was it that even led you to come to our back gate?
I really had nothing else. Everything had been stripped away. I was sleeping on the streets. I was traveling by the bus, just Dade County bus system, just to get around. I was alone, completely alone, without anything. And somebody told me that they feed at the back gate. I came to the back gate and was getting a meal, and a man there told me that you could get in on this program if you come Monday morning. And I did, and there was about 13 or 15 of us there, and only 8 of us were selected to come in that Monday, and I was one of them.
Thank God.
Yes, ma'am. And then by that Sunday, there was only 2 of us left out of the 8. it was kind of hard when I first got there, right? Because they tell you can't have your phone and you can't go to work and all these things that I thought I was really going to need. That turned out to be the biggest blessing for me, was disconnecting from everything and going to these churches and to the Bible study and to the group and getting surrounded by something a little more deeper than what I thought I needed.
Transformational programs aren't easy. As you know, you started with 8, you were down to 2, and then you entered the program. So on this journey, I know you mentioned the fact that it was completely new. You had no contacts, no nothing. You had children, lost children, your family connections, all of that. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the resources and stuff you gained through the program when you entered?
Well, I got, one of the main things was going to the Ed Center, right? Because I really had been out of school for over 30-something years. By going to the Ed Center, I started to practice this educational stuff that I had given up on a long time ago. With that confidence that got built up in me and the fortitude of pushing through till I achieved the Ed Center. Now I am currently enrolled in taking my GED.
Congratulations. Snaps for you.
And my HVAC certification I'm working on.
Wow.
So that was a huge thing. I have a home church that I go to weekly. I gained a family in the Caring Place. Was probably the biggest thing I could say. I just lost my mother recently, and the staff and the clients at the Caring Place were there for me. They carried me when I couldn't carry myself.
Amen.
I was able to get through this without using, which was huge for me. People like me and my mother used together for many years. It was always something like when somebody like that passes away, one of the ways we honor you is by using. And I was able to get through this without even being tempted by using. I was supported and loved on by everybody in the Caring Place, from the president down to people that are just there for the first week. So it's a lot that I gained here.
That's amazing.
I don't feel alone no more.
Oh, you don't feel alone no more. That's a beautiful word. Now, we're sitting here talking, and you mentioned your graduation and a whole bunch of stuff happening. And I can't forget your graduation and the words you told me after. I mean, it's trying to fight back some tears right now. So how many months were you in our program before you reached graduation? Let's start there.
Say about 9 or 10.
9 to 10 months of transforming your life, learning biblical studies, going to education classes, and building this Caring Place family, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now your graduation day comes around. What's the one takeaway that you remember from your graduation?
I think the main thing was Tony's speech. You know, Tony has a way when he talks that just energizes a room. And he never makes himself bigger than anybody else in the room. When Tony speaks, he speaks to you just as you are, just as he is, just man to man. And he encouraged me.
When you're talking about Tony, are you talking about our president, Antonio Villasuso?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. I remember when I started the home run team, we had a baseball outing. And we went to that baseball outing, and he looked me in my face and he told me I belonged. And I don't think he knew how much I needed to hear that at that particular moment. And I don't think I really believed him at that particular moment. But it was 3 or 4 more times after that outing that every time he would see me, he would tell me, you belong. Don't ever forget it, you belong. And it encouraged me and it filled me, and until I believed it myself that I belonged. And it's things like that that are just happened that I couldn't have got anywhere else.
You know, one of the things I like to tell you guys when we're reminiscing and looking back is he died for our sins. You're here today because of him. And this is an excellent example of that. Our viewers may not be aware, but you mentioned so many impactful things just now. The home run team, how you had education, the biblical studies, all of that. So for those of them that don't know, the home run team, that's a group of mentors, right?
Yes, sir.
So-
yes, ma'am. Excuse me.
Don't worry. So it's great men in the community that are high-ranking men in the community that are messaging you and contacting you directly and helping you reintegrate to society, right? Mm-hmm. How was it entering a program like that? I mean, you said you came from nothing. You entered this program because you literally had nothing. And now you're dealing with these high-capacity people every day that are helping you become a better you. How's that? What's that feel like?
It's pretty amazing because not only are they helping you, they're treating you with love. They're treating you with respect. That when I was out there on them streets, I didn't feel I deserved. I kind of carried myself around a little bit bigger than I needed to. I didn't know what true strength was, and these men have been able to show me what true strength is, how it is to be strong and humble at the same time. And I'm very grateful to the home run team, what I've learned from them.
That's amazing. So we're gonna wrap this up. 2 more things. So you entered the program, you changed your life, you're on a straight path, you graduated, you're leaving the past there. What are you doing now?
I'm working.
Where are you working?
I'm working at the Caring Place.
Amen to that one. So you recently joined our maintenance team, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, isn't that incredible? Now,
Yes.
your family connections. I know that unfortunately you lost your mom, but you started reconnecting, no?
Yes.
That's...
We actually had a year and a half of both of us being sober together and being able to have a real relationship, a clean, sober relationship. And I was able to be there for her in her biggest time of need. So I'm very grateful for that.
That's amazing.
My father and me are still in touch and rebuilding our relationship. And we're taking everything one day at a time.
For someone that may be in need, for someone that's struggling, for someone out there that doesn't know what the Caring Place is, why don't you tell them exactly what the Caring Place means and where they need to come and get help if they want it?
The Caring Place is a place that's just what it says in the name. It'll care for you when you can't care for yourself. It'll rebuild you if you give it the opportunity. It's a sacrifice that could only better your life and put you in a family of people that care.
Joshua, thank you so much for joining us today. And we're just going to keep praying for you and your journey as you continue this path in life.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Caring Place Spotlight, where we share what's happening across our centers and celebrate the moments that matter most. From our community events to everyday acts of kindness, this is your inside look at how care comes to life. And today we are joined by one of our Assistant Centers Director, Gary Cooper. Hey, Gary.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Thanks for joining. So, Gary, you're one of the Assistant Centers Directors. Why don't you talk to us about the shelter? What is the center? What is it?
Well, our center is based on 2 programs. We have the emergency service program and we have the regeneration program. The regeneration program focuses on clients that's dealing with life issues, addictions, or any type of trauma. We bring them in and it's 12 to 18 months and we just help them, to get back on track.
Awesome. So since you're one of the Assistant Centers Directors, does that mean that we have more than one center?
Yes, we also have a center in Hollywood, Broward Outreach Center, where we also provide services for women and children and also emergency services for the work program, and we also provide services for the regeneration.
So when we're talking about the shelter, this is one of the most important things for our listeners and our viewers and our donors, because this is that meat and potatoes of our organization. This is the heart of the Caring Place. So what services are we able to provide through the help of our supporters?
We're able to provide food, because we also feed our outside community. We feed them dinner. We feed them breakfast. We also do showers. We also have outreaches that we do. The volunteers, they serve. They come in and serve lunch, dinner to the community also.
Don't we offer like haircuts and stuff as well?
Yes, on certain occasions, on certain outreaches, we also do haircuts for our outside community.
But we still offer it for our inside guests, right?
Yes, we do.
So I know there's something very special and unique about the Caring Place, which is its caring heart. So the services you listed are just very minimal services, because we also assist with birth certificate paperwork and all the documentation needed when someone enters our programs to reintegrate to society, right?
Yes, that goes through, once they get their case manager help facilitate those different things like that, yes.
Awesome. So most importantly, when that one guest comes to us that's hopeless, and they come through, I'm going to say it, it comes up in all of our testimonies, the magical back gate. How does a moment of a touch point look for this individual that's homeless and in need?
It's hard. We do everything we can to support and help them, because I was also one of those people. I graduated the program.
Congratulations.
26 years ago, and it helped change my life. So my heart is to help those in need, however I can.
Yeah, so change is possible. They can come in through intake and they can enter the program and change
Yes,
their life.
they can contact us through our outreach department at 305-572-2020.
Hey, snaps for that. So if you're in need of help or you know someone that needs help, contact our intake department, 305-572-2020. So Gary, other than the services that we provide for those in need and those that come into our program, what's happening at the shelter right now, specifically the Miami shelter?
Well, right now at the Miami shelter, we are renovating our kitchen.
Wow.
Right now at this moment, they're preparing to lay down the concrete on the floors. We have already remodeled the back kitchen area, so now we're working on the floors. So we're going to lay the concrete, and we're just going to continue to the next level.
And this is a moment that just came out of pure need, right? It wasn't like it was planned, like, let's just renovate and make it pretty.
Exactly. We want the best for our community.
That's incredible. So now, as we're getting ready to wrap up our segment, is there anything else that you'd like to let our listeners know about what's happening at the centers, or how they can maybe help out if need be?
That the program works if you work it. We're here to help, and the doors are always open.
Well, Gary, thank you so much for joining us today. And obviously, you guys, if you know someone in need, if you want to help support a life in need over at the Caring Place, we provide so much more than a meal, showers, haircuts. We provide a safe night of sleep. We give you case management if you enter our program, and help that individual reintegrate to society. So thank you for all you do, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We've just launched our brand new merch store, featuring all the products and merchandise you use every day. But above all, every purchase you make helps provide food and shelter for men, women, and children coming out of homelessness. There's also a big variety of cuddle toys, t-shirts, unisex college sweat jackets, caps, unisex hoodies, tumblers, plus aprons, pillow covers, and so much more. Visit our merch store at www.caringplace.org/merch.
Thank you again for tuning into our podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the Voices of the Caring Place. Love you all, and thank you for being with us. Until next time, God bless you.